But by law, you're supposed to tell your insurance that you're doing it, right?
Right, but I'm saying they won't pay, even with me, like I have a right to hire addendum on my policy,
Right.
but it's not gonna pay if you're not also paying. If you're not
We will do
covering
what we
it on
have to
the
do
line.
legally to make it right for people, but I'll just tell you, they're gonna try to keep people out. Like you just said though, like what, how is that legal? I would have my company, my attorneys go after them. Cause how can they tell me you're an independent contractor? I'm providing a software as a service. That's what this app is really. It's software as a service. I'm hooking up clients with drivers, independent driver, an independent contractor. And then, I'm sorry, independent customer and a driver, I'm putting them together. And now you're telling me I gotta go pay insurance? I'm gonna pay you more. And I tell drivers, listen, I'm gonna do everything I possibly can to make it right, but I'm gonna fight too. I'm gonna take my attorneys and I'm gonna go to them and I'm gonna say, listen, I don't know if people can see can you see my video? Let me turn on the chat here. Give me 1 second, guys, sorry. I'm gonna take this off. That's probably what was on. There we go. Let me turn on this chat. Can I turn this thing off? It's a little warm. Maybe we'll just do Q&A with our guys tonight. Hey, everyone, if you're joining us around the country, I am in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm going to try to turn on the chat. I don't know how to do it. I just work here. But see, what you just said a second ago, that your company will not pay if we're not covering too, like that just sounds shady to me.
Because they're saying you're using it for business, you don't have business.
I have car insurance, you know, then tell me what I have to pay. That's what I would tell them, like, tell me what I have to pay to be legal with you than to have the business insurance. I'm not saying we won't do it. I'm just saying I would fight stuff. I'm not just gonna lay down and take, you know, people's word for it. All right, anybody, what other questions you got? Like, these are good. The reason why I do these things and go out, because I want to hear the, you know, good, the bad, and the ugly.
I know this is down the road, but on the tokens.
Yep.
I have enough tokens. Can I gift those tokens?
Yes, absolutely. I'm glad you said that. So if you're joining us at home, once again, this is Paul Michael. We are in Nashville, Tennessee. I know some of you are going to cry if I don't turn this chat on. They have a race in our company to see who's first in the chat every week. It's sad. Lisa or Evelyn or one of y'all, if you're on here, can you turn on the chat? Hey, tonight too, guys, let's do Q&A if you want. You can raise your hand. You can put questions in the Q&A. But I'll just let you know, I'm here in Nashville, Tennessee, and we are with a great group of people. We're about to get started down here and start rolling. So I wanted to come, you know, kind of meet with them. We've been going over and they've been asking some questions, and I would love it if, you know, if y'all at home want to ask some questions. Tonight we are going to announce those who hit the Founders Club. I'll find that at the end of the call before we get done. Lisa, if you could send that to my phone, that would be helpful. Then I could read it off on my phone. But what was some of the other, what other questions you got? Yes, sir.
How do you, are you gonna be able to cash out daily? When
Yep.
is it paid?
So right now, what happens is every day at the end of the day, it puts it into your bank account.
Oh,
Right now. Right now, it does that. We will have it to where you can do, you can draw it out at some point. We will have an option too at some point where customers can pay with crypto. You know, we'll be one of the first companies that take crypto. We'll be, you'll be able to decide if you want to take your pay in US dollars. Some people are going to want these tokens. I mean, like if I'd had a really good day and I go, listen, every time I hit 20, one of my goals is not right away, but if I have a daily goal of as a driver that I want to have these things built in. So if a driver goes, hey, I want my goal to be $200 today, every ride they get towards it, it'll show them on a graph. Because that'll help them, right? Like, oh, I'm excited. I'm almost to this. I got 4 more rides to do or this and that. But if it goes over, say if I, you know, I want to make my goal of $800 today. Once I hit that goal, everything above and beyond that, I want to get paid in these tokens. Now the tokens right now may be 0.001 cent or whatever it is. And then they start going up. This is where people will be able to make a lot of money down the road. Now, this isn't going to happen tomorrow, but over the next 12 months, they have something called the halving. So in any Bitcoin or crypto, there's a certain number. It's a finite number. How many remember the gold standard? There's only a certain amount of gold in the world. And then it used to have a dollar amount per gold until I just learned this the other day who did it. Nixon, they got rid of that at some point. Now we just decide whatever money we want. You know, I tell my kid the other day, I go, listen, you want to learn how to really ruin your life? Go learn how to do economics from our government. I mean, you know, I told my kid and I tried to teach him, I said, listen, our government is doing exactly what I thought I was doing when I was younger. I thought if I had checks, I still had money. Look at you. Trouble. Oh, he's on our. If I yell really loud, it's good.
I turned it off.
I'm just asking you.
I didn't realize it was gonna echo.
That's all right.
Oh, mine there too, so
Yes. Are you both watching me?
yeah.
I feel sorry for y'all. Got better lives. Y'all got better things to do than that. I'm just kidding. So here's a question. Dr. Martin, I'm Dr. Martin, my Atlanta friend. A taxi driver asked me this morning, can they use their taxi car once they have passed the background check? I'm not sure what a taxi car means, but
The cab,
like the color yellow car or does it matter? Are
an
they-
actual taxi.
I know, but are they,
So they're an independent, yeah.
I mean, obviously, as a cat, yeah, I don't care. As long as you can use your car and it's the right vehicle. We have problems with phones here. I'm just kidding. Yes, I'm just messing. Yes, you can.
Yeah, if he's
They lock people out.
independent.
Yeah, if you're an independent cab, you can absolutely do it. I'm trying to figure out how do you become a manager? I have to be one to open my, and no, you don't have to be a manager to open in your area. If you go, we will get it for you. We'll get the pay plan up in the back office. I'll have that up by tomorrow, I promise. They've been working on it. What is the numbers formula that determines when a city opens for rideshare? Well, there was going to be a formula. Now there's not going to be a formula. We are going to start. Yeah, we flip a coin. That's a good answer. So one of the things we're going to do is within the next few weeks, and I just talked to my developer today, and I hate to ever make commitments because the minute I make a commitment, it's wrong. Everybody yells at me. But one of the things we're going to do is we're going to make it so that you very soon in a lot of your areas, you're going to be able to take reservations. That should happen in the next few weeks, and we'll start contacting areas. So there's not going to be a certain number of people you have to come. You just have to be committed. You know what I'm saying? You got to be committed. We got to have people like if you want to start your own, I could start an area with one person if it's done off of reservations, then we can start building it that way. So what blockchain is the crypto made from? What coin was tokened? Or I don't know what that said. So we are building our crypto. It's called, so the name of our company is Revo. It's built on the Revolution blockchain, and our token will be called Rev. All that information is coming in the next couple weeks. We have a lot of stuff going on with that. Let's see here. I really want to get the chat because that's where everybody likes to live. Let me see if Lisa has sent me my list of people. See, you should have come here. I brought stuff for people. Here we go. All right, here's what I want to do now. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this. Let me find my glasses. So I appreciate you all jumping on. This is a little different than we normally do it. I was going to be here in Nashville with a group of people. So a lot of them are hanging out with me and spending time with you. And so we are going to be sending out certificates. So there was a program that we had when we first started that if you got 60 people within a certain date range, that you become a founder, and there are some extra benefits and perks that go along with that. And I'm going to read out the names of those that have qualified for it. Now, we're not perfect. If somebody got missed, please send an email into support@revoride.com. Don't send me an email. Don't send me a text. Don't call my mother. Just send an email straight into the company and we'll take care of it for you. So I'm going to go through here. Juana Dillon. I was just with her down in New Orleans last week, getting everything rolling and started. Global Rideshare Services, Jorge Fundora, Cesar Lopez, Jeremy Chloe, I can't remember if I got that right. And now listen, we had some that had just a first name. They didn't put a last name. We tried to contact them. I'm not gonna read those names out because then 4 Randys will go, I told me. Ellen Mendelson, Roberto Dorfman, Milner, Majas, I'm not gonna say your name, Mike Heinold, Deborah Lindy. I don't know how to say this name, so please, Shanu, I know that name, Shanu, Halamab, Angel Medina, Charles Gomez, Jeffrey Dornzo. It's funny, Lisa today goes, are you gonna read out every name? Yes, people deserve to be recognized when they do stuff. We will get you out a certificate that you can print out. You'll be a founding member of the company. You can go to different, when we do our event out in Florida, you're allowed to go to a special dinner that I'm gonna do. Charles Gomez, Jeffrey Dornzo, Ty Crawford, Tara Brady, Karen Smith, Cesar Morales, Danny McFarland. He's sitting in the room with me. Valentine Marshall, Renee Tabor, Clara Gallardo, Marilyn Helmuth, Rodney Bush, Kevin Steele, Mark Cajora, Carlos Jimenez, Gerald Galano. I guess his name is Revo Driver Sebastian. That's good. That's a funny name to name your kid. Martin Zizi, Vivian Bogle, Rick Walrap, Pete Lance, Aaron Sarah, Alan Tabor, Jerry Hinner, John McKinnon, June Hebert, Jeffrey Borges. I'm sorry if I messed up your name. I hate messing people's names up. Tim Hayes, Gypsy Gottlieb, Carlos Ayarce, Jerry Taylor, Carlos Lascano, Benedicto Levanco, Revo Rideshare. Somebody put as their name. That's me. I must have won. Shannon Maryland, Ahmad Giliu, Drew Lloyd, Bill Hanna, Jacqueline Johnson, Rob Hammer, Phoenix Walker, and Robert Reigert. Oh, there's more. Holy mackerel. Only a few more guys. Sorry. Richard Hudson, Tony Johnson, Alex Scar, Cheryl Flowers, Bod Buksimi, Gerard Galano. I think I already had that one in there. Dirk Baloo, John Lyons, Carlos Insigniares, Darnell Dethrow, Renelva Silicius, Allison Manueller, Daniel Verley, Jacqueline Trotter, and John Ogden. Now, once again, if I read your name or didn't read your name and you think you're on our list, please make sure you send in an email into support@revoride.com. So, well, let's do this, guys. Let's go through a couple more questions. Let me see. Any idea when nodes will be available? When they're available, they'll be available. They're coming. I can't tell you when. Bill Barnhart, I'm going full-time with Snap now that I'm out of work after breaking my lumbar on my back in my car accident in January. I want to say congratulations, but then I feel like I'm congratulating you on breaking your back, then you can work full-time with us, but we're excited about it. Isaiah, when will you come to Biloxi? I was just in Biloxi on Saturday. I was in Biloxi on Friday and Saturday. I will tell you, I probably will be buying a place in Biloxi because I liked it so much. And I think that's a great place for us to do rideshare. So we'll be doing that. Is the coin proof of work or proof of stake? I don't know what either one of I know what proof of work means. Ours is proof of work. It'll be something that's being done. So using words like proof of work and proof of state, I don't know all those things. Anybody else have anything that they want to ask me on here? Does anybody here have anything? Any questions? Oh my gosh, everybody's good. I did. Yeah. When did the founders begin? It's over, so it doesn't matter. It's so funny. I have people that'll send me emails now and they'll be like, I know the founders program is over, but can you find, why can't you just extend it? Like I can't go to Sears. Oh, Sears almost dated myself. I can't go to Walmart and go, hey, you remember that sale y'all had 4 weeks ago? Can I get in on that? Listen, we will have more stuff. We will have, tell me your name again, Jonathan, right? I will tell you this. The people that get started in this, I did that contest and had that deal, not for somebody to become a founder. I did it because how many of us will work harder to win a contest and will actually work to build our business? Like all these people were killing themselves to get these people in when the reality is that guess what? What if you went out and did that every day? What if you went out and got as many people as you could on a daily basis to do this program? guess how much money you would be making? Some of you, I tricked you into helping yourself make money. Like, and some of you just got a bunch of people and threw them in the system. And that's not what I did that for. You know, I don't do things for people just to get people in a system. I want to work with people. The reason why I'm here in Nashville in a room full of people on a Tuesday night is because I want to be able to help people. I want to help people become successful. I had a mentor that said, listen, people don't know how much you care until they care how much you know. Like all these cliches that you hear from people, I actually believe them. And I was really impressed today with Jonathan. I came into town. The gentlemen that are in this room, we were all sitting at lunch and they said, he just got in. When did you find out about us? A week ago. So then you found out about me being here today, right? Yeah. And then he was at lunch with us and now he's back tonight. He has a family that he moved down to Houston, moved away from New York City, 3 kids, 4 kids, and his wife moved to Houston, just moved to Tennessee, and is taking advantage of this. Like, he's going to get after it. And that's the kind of thing you hear Tony talk about it all the time, guys, where he says, listen, you have to be in the right place at the right time, but that's not all it takes. You have to take immediate and massive action. So it's like a bunch of you got a lot of people, but listen, when we open up your city, if you don't keep it going and you don't keep busting it, I busted every single day of my life. I got up this morning, I got on a plane on the way to the airport down in Fort Lauderdale. I did 3 calls on the way down there. When I got on the plane, I was texting and I was putting stuff together for the slides tonight and different programs and talking to people in the company. I got off the plane and went straight to lunch. I got done with lunch. I went back to the hotel. I was going to rest. And instead of resting, I did 4 Zoom calls, a couple of calls with Lisa, and a couple of calls for our blockchain projects. And in between, I was talking to people in our legal department, and I was taking text messages. So that I just want you to understand that this is a full-on go after it. The people that get after it the hardest, the sooner you get after this and go after it, the better it's going to be. You know, the more people you put in the system. And listen, I don't know everything about everything in this company yet. Like, I don't know how the blockchain works. Guess what else I don't know how it works? I don't know how my microwave works. I don't know how I don't know how Zoom works, but I know it works. And so what I would tell you is this: we're putting millions of dollars on a daily basis into this program to make it work, to make it so it benefits people long after I'm gone. I want to put together a program that's decentralized, that makes it so that we can do stuff around the world. I talked to a lady today for a gentleman named Robin, and when I got on the Zoom, you know how you have a background screen? She had a background screen that said Mrs. Satoshi. If you know anything about Bitcoin, the person that they think created it was called Satoshi. And I was like, oh, great, here we go. This person's going to know so much more than I do. She's going to hammer me. And she probably does know more than I do. But what she said was, she goes, listen, Paul, I'm excited about what you're doing. That's it. She goes, I don't care what you're doing. I'm excited and I want in. And within an hour, she got signed up. She started talking. People that are successful and people that have been successful, no, I will tell you this right now. Tony, my partner, is worth probably 150 million from what we've done with different projects over the years. And when we decided to make the change with the ERC program, not that it's over, people are still doing SCTC, people are doing things, but Tony, when he decided we were making this switch, I've never seen him switch so quick. I go to see him in Puerto Rico. Last night, he and I were on the computer. I sent him a picture of me at midnight. I had a flight this morning. I was packing. I sent him a picture at midnight last night of me watching some guy talking about tokenization around the world on YouTube and how it's going to work and how everything's going to go. And I told Tony, I texted him on WhatsApp and I go, are you kidding me? I know that I'm in this. At that midnight, instead of watching TikTok on my phone or going to sleep, I'm watching about tokenization, Bitcoin, and how things are going to work around the world and the economy. And he goes, I just finished my last call for the night. He goes, I'm still on my last call for the night with a group of people in Australia. While most of you that are sitting at home, you get tired. You know, you got to go, I got to go to bed early. I got to do this. When you got a guy that's worth $150 million, my partner, who's working 10 times harder than I've seen him work in the last 6 months. Like, that's because the opportunity, it's not about the money for us. It's about making a dent in the universe. And I hope that the people in this room get that. like you got an opportunity. You got an opportunity to go after this. Rodney's been with us since we started Snap, and he was in another company before. And the reason why I do stuff like I do is because of people like Rodney. Because if they have belief in what I'm doing, then I got to get after it. Like I have a responsibility to Rodney and to Lloyd and to all the people that are, I mean, all of you that are on a call, 90 of you or 80 of you, I can't even read, are on a call on a Tuesday night. If I come in here and I go, oh, this is okay, it's great. When I'm tired, I got up at 6 this morning, I've been on the phone all day, I'm weird, beat. No, my responsibility is for you to get here and go, listen, get off your butt and go to work. I had a mentor when I first got started in the business. I tell this story. I went into an overview. I saw people like we're in a room tonight, and it kind of reminds me of stuff like this. I went into an office. They started talking about how I could get wealthy and how I could do stuff. And then I went home and I talked to my mom and my dad, and I'm like, I'm getting rich. And my parents are like, you're not getting rich. My parents are missionaries. They wanted me to go be a preacher. I didn't do well in school. I wasn't going to be a preacher because I like to say certain words out loud that you're not supposed to say as a preacher. But I knew that I wanted to impact people. I knew I wanted to help people. And I went into this office and this guy goes, listen, your personality can get you really far. I have someone in my life that's very important to me that, the other day I was talking to them and they were like, listen, I'm not smart like you. And I started laughing. I go, let me explain to you smart. I took Algebra 1 as a freshman, and then I took it again as a senior because I loved it so much. No, I failed it as a freshman, and I had to take it as a senior so I could get out of high school. You know how humiliating that is? To go to a class with a bunch of freshmen going, you're an idiot? Then I didn't even pass it the second time. I had to go to summer school and get my GED. And then my mom finished high school in 3 years and college in 3 years. My dad was a computer guy and a genius, and he could program and all this stuff before anybody could do this stuff. So I'm sitting there going, I'm not good enough. And then everybody would tell me I wasn't. Why don't you be like the rest of these people? Why don't you be like your friends? I had a great personality and I was in different extracurricular stuff, which I excelled in, but I wasn't good at the book work, all the stuff they told you to do. Now I out-earn most of the people I went to high school all combined. And I'm not saying that to be cocky, but I was smart enough at some point to start going, listen, I'm not an idiot. I can grasp things. And now it's funny when people come up with me and they think oh my gosh, they're intimidated to meet me. I'm like, why? Like, I'm real. I'm a real person. You will get to know me. I don't mince words. I don't hide things. I don't lie. I tell the truth. If we make a mistake, I feel like we made a mistake for the last year for some of the hires we made. And we made a commitment to people and we didn't get it. But guess what? We make up for it. That's why Rodney's still here. Because whenever something goes wrong, I'll tell Rodney, this is what went wrong. This is what happened. If somebody tells you the truth, you can handle it, right? If they lie to you and they manipulate you and they hide from you, guess how much we want to do bad things to those people. That's why we are ripe for what's going to happen in this world. We're going to take over in many big ways. And some of you are I told the guys in here tonight, I said, Tony and I have a goal within the first year of us really going after this to have a driver make $1 million. Can you imagine sitting in a boardroom at one of these other companies and they go, hey guys, here's what I think we should do. I think we should have a driver make $1 million. And they'd be like, quit drinking so early. Like, can you ever imagine that ever happening in any corporate America? Like, even if me saying it, I don't 100% believe it, at least I'm putting it out there. But I do believe it can happen. I do believe that we could have somebody that goes, you know what? We had somebody that we're on a call today and they told me, this guy goes, I got a lady that got involved down in Atlanta and she has 246 drivers that she got involved, or 180 drivers, I'm sorry. 180 drivers, and she didn't know any of them. Now listen, could she have gamed the system? Maybe she just signed people up and they didn't even know what they were signing up for. But guess what happens 2 years down the road and that person goes to download the app, but they're already in the system. Oh, let me take a ride. And then that lady that signed somebody up 2 years ago goes into her account and goes, where did that money come from? Or the company sends her an email and goes, hey, just to let you know, you have money in your account. Do you think Uber or Lyft would ever tell anybody they have money in their account? That's one of the things that we did with ERC in our company. Rodney did this all the time. He had a lady named Shirley Baker, right? And she was going through some hard times. She didn't even know she had money in her account. And she was about to go sell one of her rings. And Rodney goes, hey, you might want to check your account. I don't know if your stuff came in. And she had what, 20 grand in there from one of her deals. So the thing about it is, if we build this thing together and we work together and we help each other and we support each other, this thing can go through the roof. And you can sit there and go, I was there when it first started. But you're not going to be here when we first started. If you know, there's people that have gotten in our company and already gotten out. They're going, oh, I didn't hit that founders thing, so I'm not going to be a part of this company. The person that's going to make the most money in our company isn't going to sign up for 2 more years. Promise you that. Because guess what? When there's problems and there's issues and things that come up, people find reasons to quit. They find reasons to not be involved. But when momentum hits, and momentum is going to hit this thing like nothing I've ever seen. Tony and I know one of the things Tony said, he goes, listen, I didn't get involved in some of the other projects and things that people do, because if I can't have an effect on it, if I can't move the needle, like I don't like to put my money in stock. Like it drives me crazy to put my money into stock, because guess how much effect I have on that stock? None. I can scream at my TV screen as loud as I possibly can. One of my business partners, he loves a day trade. So I give him some money and he's done well. But last week, he's like, oh my gosh, you're going to make 180 grand off of this $3,000. And I'm in my head, I'm like, no, I'm not. It's like, he goes, they're going to legalize this weed stock. It's this MSOS and they're going to legalize it. And we're going to make all this money. And I said, all right. And then on Tuesday, you know how somebody makes this big claim and then they don't come, if they hit it, they're going to come back and tell you. Monday went on, Tuesday went on. I called him on Wednesday morning. I go, where's my 180 grand? And he goes, well, they just haven't approved it. And I'm like, once again, you don't have control over it. I have control over this, right? Jonathan has control over it. Like you have 3 kids all under the age of 5, right? Isn't that what you told me? 4. I can't even say it out loud. All under the age of 4. Guess what he doesn't get to the opportunity to do? Be sad, sit around and do nothing, right? Like I learned this a long time ago. Before I had a child, I could live under a park bench. I could live on a friend's house. When you got 4 kids and a wife that are counting on you, guess what he needs to do every day? He needs to get up. If he's driving for Uber, he's got to go drive it. And at the same time, he can build this business on the side, right? Not many things you can build. You had a cabinet company. You had to do that 100%, right? You had to put a bunch of money into it. I'll put the money into this. Tony will put the money into this. And someone like him, it excites me. Because when he makes the money and he's taking care of his family, that drives me. Because I know that the guys setting up in these big buildings, they don't care about that shit. Excuse my language if you don't like cussing. But I'm just a real person. And it's like, I want to make it so that you get up in the morning. And listen, I'm not motivated every single day. I get depressed some days, but I also get out of it very, very quickly. Like I know, and I don't want, like I know when I get depressed and I get down now, I'm going to think of Jonathan. I'm going to be like, listen, if I got a problem, I got to make this app work because his kids need to eat, which means he needs to be able to build a business. You got to find something greater than yourself. Like I've worked for money. I mean, listen, I made close to $2 million last year off of my personal stuff when it comes to ERC. Wonder how much have I spent of that money? Every time I could. Because I don't want to pay taxes on it. I invested it in different businesses. I invested in this stuff, but I invested in people. I invested in friends. I took people on trips. I was dating a girl. I took 7 of her friends to Cabo and spent $35,000 of it on her and her trip. I spent $50,000 on a birthday not too long ago for somebody. And I know some people think that's dumb, but I can't take a watch with me at the end of my life. I can take memories. When I'm sitting there on my deathbed, I'm not going to sit there and go, man, I'm sure glad I saved all that money. I'm sure glad I didn't take that trip and spend $50,000 on it. But if I have my child and my kid goes, Dad, my kid even told me, he texted me the other day, he goes, man, Christmas was the best Christmas we've ever had this year. I took him to the Cowboy game against the Dolphins, and we were on front row on Cowboy side, and we got to go in a special area and do all that stuff. Like, my parents never did that stuff for me, not because they couldn't, they just weren't motivated by that. But they were motivated to go overseas and be missionaries. And you know what? That's great. Some of you that are on this call tonight, some of you are here in this room, you have something that's bigger than you. And you got to find out what it is. You know, whenever you're doing business, people always go, find out what your why is. And then people go, well, that's dumb. That's just hokey pokey. I started believing the garbage they teach you in personal development. I started believing in when somebody said, Paul, you can be anything you want outside of an NBA player or whatever else. I believed that I could do it. I was telling this person that told me the other day they felt stupid. Their mom told them they were nothing. So what they did is they overcompensated in some different areas of their life. They started making themselves look really good and they have an amazing personality. But I said, your people around you did you a disservice. The people that are in your life, that they're not telling you that you could do anything you want, not just because you're pretty. How many of us realize pretty only lasts so long? I have a saying, I said, listen, if you're not going to be pretty in the face or skinny in the waist, you better be funny and make a lot of money. So we know which two I chose. And I learned a long time ago that, you know what, if I get up every day, if I'm a good person and I care about people, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to sin. I'm going to fail. I'm going to fall short. But if every day I get up the next day and I go, all right, let's start over. Every day, you know, if I go out, you know, one of the reasons why I know Rodney's here, he may not have made all the kind of money he's wanted. He's made good money in different times of this, but he sees a long-term vision of where we're at. When I said I'd come to town, he got this room together. I know he had to go out of his way. I know he had to pay money. I know he had to do things he probably didn't want to do. But guess what that does is it solidifies him into this company. When I flew in today, I could have got a car. Rodney goes, I'll pick you up at the airport. Like Rodney, I know, is driven across the country. It's funny, whenever I started talking about the ride share, I told Rodney, I go, listen, I know you've been so loyal to the company. You've been, you know, you've done everything. You've cared so much about the company. When I get back home, I'm gonna, you know, we were having I think we were in Dallas, right? We were in Dallas and I said, listen, at some point in the near future, I'm gonna have you to come down. I'll meet with you. We'll talk. We'll, you know, I've got a call from Rodney on the next couple of days, right? And he goes, he texted me, he goes, I'll see you in 13 hours. And I said, what? He goes, I'm on my way to Florida. I said, what do you mean you're on your way to Florida? He goes, I'm going to come down there and I'm going to stay. I'm going to find a place. I'm going to drive for Uber and Lyft and do stuff because I really want to be involved in a big way with this. And he doesn't know what I have coming for him in some area of the company. And I'm not going to tell him, don't ask me, Rodney. But that kind of stuff you can't buy. You can't buy that kind of loyalty. You can't buy that kind of caring. You can't buy that kind of drive. When we do, we have an event coming up April 20th. Only 100 people are allowed to go to it. It'll cost $100 to go to it down in Florida. But I would encourage every single one of you to be there because Tony's going to be there teaching you about blockchain. We're going to teach people how to actually build a team. Like we haven't done a lot of that stuff. I mean, wouldn't you? What's your Seth, right? What do you do for a living?
Software.
Oh, I can't talk to you anymore. Software. He said he's a software engineer. We don't like those people. I'm just kidding. He goes, I don't like those people either. So I'm gonna do something with you real quick. I wanna show you something. Like, and you at home, maybe you've seen this before, maybe you haven't. But I'm gonna show you. We're gonna teach how to do things. Like, I don't think enough time is spent on how to actually get someone. Like, if you got in a car with someone, wouldn't you want to know how you could get them to be a driver?
Yeah.
Motivate them how to be a driver, motivate them to be a customer for you. I'm going to show you how to do those type of things. Here, do me a favor and come sit over here. I've got a deck of cards here and I'm going to have him pick a card. Now, I'm going to look at the card. I'm going to know what the card is. You're going to pick that card. You're not going to look at it. You're going to put it face down right there.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to ask you a couple questions. All right.
Okay.
You're about to be on camera.
Yeah.
All right. Seth didn't know he was going to do this, but all right. So you pick a card, put it right down there. Anyone you want. Put it straight down there. All right. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions real quick, right?
Yeah.
So in a deck of cards, there's 52 cards, correct?
Correct.
In that deck of cards, there's 2 colors, right?
No.
Yeah. There's not 4 colors.
Oh, wait, color. Yeah,
There's
no,
black-
Yeah.
black and red, right? So if you had to pick black or red, which would you pick?
Red.
Okay, so out of the red cards, there's number cards and there's face cards, right? No, I'm sorry. There's 2 suits in the red. Now here's your 2. There's 2 suits. There's what? There's diamonds,
Diamonds and
hearts.
hearts.
So if you had to pick diamonds or hearts, which would you pick?
Diamonds.
Okay, so that will leave. Okay, so out of the diamonds, so you picked red,
Mhm.
then you picked diamonds.
Yep.
So out of the diamonds, there's number cards and there's face cards. If you had to pick numbered cards of diamonds or face cards of diamonds, which would you pick?
Face.
All right, so out of the face diamonds, you'll say you've got Jack and Queen as a group, Jack, Queen, and King Ace as a group. Which would you pick?
King Ace,
All right, so out of the King and the Ace of diamonds, which would you pick?
King.
So you know how I did it? As
Um,
an engineer, do you know how I did this?
Magic.
It's not magic. So I want you to understand, and some of you are going, I don't know why we're doing this. This has nothing to do with me getting a ride share. It absolutely does. Because if you know the right question to ask, don't you know how to get somebody where you want them to go? So when I started this thing, I said, you're gonna pick a card and I'm gonna look at it.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He didn't look at it, so he doesn't know where I want him to go, but I knew. If you're trying to get somebody to become a salesperson for you, you got to know the right questions to ask, right? Like, and I'll teach you one of those in just a second that I use. So I said to you, so every time I asked you a question, if you answered it the way I wanted you to answer it, I said, okay.
Yeah.
So I said, we got red and black. Which would you pick? And you said,
Red.
I said, okay, out of the red cards, you have diamonds. If you would have said black, guess what I would have said? I would have said that leaves us with the red cards. So I would have taken what you told me. I wouldn't have manipulated you. I wouldn't have used you. I would have just taken what you said and went to another way. So every time you say something, now you cooperated very well. You said red, you went all the way through it. But every time, all I did was 2 answers. If you said what I wanted you to say, I went with it. If you said something else, I said, okay, that leaves us with.
Right.
So I just kept asking you questions all the way down. So like if I'm gonna ask you a couple questions. I'm gonna use something called form. It's called family. And I would tell you, if you're at home, write this down. Form, family, occupation, recreation, motivation. I'm gonna ask you some questions while we're sitting here. Let me see if I can get this a little bit better. Here, what's this? Ooh, I just took everybody on a ride. Everybody's like, I got vertigo. So if I was, let me ask you a couple questions. So where are you from, Seth?
Smithville, Tennessee.
Where's that?
It's about an hour and 10 minutes southeast here.
So do you live here now?
Yeah.
So how long have you lived here?
About 5 months.
Is it just you or you have family or
Just-
is all your family back home in Smithville?
Yeah.
Right on. So what brought you to Nashville?
I grew up around musicians. Made music since I was a tiny little boy. So
Really? What do you play? Like guitar and everything?
yeah,
So do you write music? Do you sing? What all?
everything that goes into a song. So,
Really?
production, recording, writing, vocals, mixing and mastering.
That's all. I like talented people. I don't have that talent. I can barely turn the radio on. But I love people that, I mean, and I guess here's the place you want to be if you're trying to do music, huh?
Yeah.
So what do you want to do with it?
I've never really had it set in stone. It's really about,
Right.
if you want to be successful with it, I just enjoy it.
So you love it. You
Yeah,
just do it
yeah.
because you love it. And if it turns into a business, then you're all for it.
Of course.
So what do you do now? But do you drive? What do you do now?
Software engineer.
Oh,
So
that's
I
right. You
work
already
for,
said that. I tried to block it out because I can't stand you guys.
Yeah.
Just kidding. So, like, what do you mean software? What do you do?
I work on a website called Masterclass. So
I have a subscription.
yeah.
Can you get me? You're the software engineer. Can you give me a back door? I'm just kidding.
Uh,
I'm just kidding. I don't want to get you fired. Oh, no, I can't do that. How did you get it? So what do you do for them?
testing, software analysis, and programming.
Like,
Yes.
do you like write code and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
James, I got somebody else for us. That's awesome. So how long have you been, how did you get into that?
I joined them about 2 years ago under a contractor, based in Cookville.
Okay.
So,
So what do you like most about it?
for one, working from home is nice. 2, it's something that I've been doing since I was.
Those are like the
Yeah.
opposites. Your passion is music, which is very
Yeah,
creative.
yeah.
And the other one is like very analytical.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's kind of creative too, though, because you got to know how to write stuff, but that's kind of the opposite ends of the spectrum if you think about it. So what do you not like about it? What do you hate? Like what if you like detest about doing it?
The pay's not too great.
Right.
I mean, really, that's the worst part. Everybody that I work with is really nice.
When you work at
The
home, they better
atmosphere
be
is
nice, cause if
yeah,
they're in your house,
Yeah, no.
I'm just kidding. So do you have like I mean, so you like a creative way of doing things where you're on a free bird.
Yeah.
You can make music, do whatever. So if you could have your like epitome of your perfect thing, what would it be?
My creativity.
Yeah, music,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So what's your motivation? Like, what is it you really want it? Like, what gets you out of bed in the morning when nothing else will?
I really just music and as much as annoying as it can be, writing code is kind of.
So you like it? I mean, it's
yeah.
something fun to do.
Yeah, I've done that as well since I was like 13.
So with the way things are going and stuff I talked about tonight, I mean, there's blockchain stuff. There's like this probably excites someone. You
Yeah.
probably understand blockchain and crypto and all that kind of stuff. So if I could show you a way with Revo that you could build a long-term income, you could get people involved. I mean, you probably know people that are really into crypto,
Yeah.
really into blockchain. Like we could turn those people onto the company, whether they want to be a driver or not, that doesn't matter. They could use the service. We could start building you a residual income. And I could just see this like you could get to a point where you build something, you probably know how to build stuff online and build like where you could recruit people too. Like,
Yeah.
you know how to build websites and all that kind of stuff. And this is a global thing. Some of the projects we have will be globally. I see something where, what is it that holds you back from really just going after your music 110%? Is it ever money?
Yeah, it's pretty much just money.
Yeah.
Like I said, I work through a contractor, so they take mostly everything.
So you're like they get the contract and then so
Yeah.
you're kind of in the opposite what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
They're trying to take all your money and
Yeah.
I'm trying to give it back. So if you and I could work together for the next 12 to 18 months and start building something, you could get to a point where you could play music, do what you want, travel, have that make something interesting to you, right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
So what I did with him just now is exactly what I do with every single person I talk to. I don't care if I'm in a car with a driver now. I use something called FORM, family, occupation, recreation, motivation. Can you notice I did every one of those things in there? I said, where are your family from? What do you do? Like, listen, he didn't really get into how important his kids, but with him today, with Jonathan, one of the first things with him was 4 kids. Like, I mean, it almost was a terror look on his face. Like, you got 4? Yeah, I got 4 kids. Like, under the age of 5. And he goes like, yeah, under the age of 5. I'm like, so in my head, I'm like, listen,
Busy man.
yeah, y'all should get a TV. Y'all should learn what causes that. Listen, I would have helped you with birth control. I would have sent my child at 21 over to you. You would have never wanted sex again. But I mean, but I knew that his motivation is going to be different than his. So what happens is when we're recruiting and trying to bring people into Snap or Revo or the blockchain, what we normally do is try to take what's exciting to us and excite them. When I did this presentation tonight, I knew what because some of the things concerns he was saying. One of the reasons why I asked for questions, and most people in a formal setting like this are scared to ask for questions because they don't know what they're going to get. I need to ask questions because I need to know what I know Rodney personally. I've known him for a couple of years. I know what his personality is. I know 4 years. I've known him for a while, so I know what motivates him. But the people in the room that I don't know, by the time we leave, I want you to be able to call me and go, hey, I'm having a bad day, or I'm not getting here. Like if I recruit somebody, I look at them and go, I'm not here just to recruit them. I'm here to build a business with them. I'm here to help Jonathan get what he wants. If I'm in my head and I'm like, you know what, is this going to help Jonathan make more money? Is this going to help Jonathan spend more time with his kids or help him get away from those kids if he wants to? Just kidding. Till they get to us. Like, I want him to be able to take care of his kids. I became a single father at 10 years old. I had to get up in the morning. I did Uber for a while. I had to Escalade. I woke up. I had millions of dollars that we had in businesses and all kinds of stuff. I woke up with 7 cents in a bank account one morning. And I was like, oh, this kid still wants to eat. Like, my ex-wife moved away. I had my child by myself. I had to do what I had to do. I had to Escalade. And I went out, and this was when Uber first started getting started. I'm driving for an Escalade with Uber. I'm like, this is the dumbest thing ever. I feel like I was making $1 an hour, how much gas I was spending. But you know what? I got up in the morning, I took that kid to school, then I started driving. Then I was building our delivery business at the time. I would drive for a few hours. Then I'd go start talking to restaurants till the restaurant got full and the owners didn't want to talk to me after 11 o'clock because they got busy. So I did that. And then I would go back out and then I'd start putting out flyers for our delivery business. Then I'd wait until they got done and I would go drive for a little bit in the afternoon. Then I'd pick up my kid and I'd make him go out and do flyers with me. My kid hates me. My kid works for somebody else now because he's like, you did slave labor, you did all this stuff, like you know, child labor laws and all that stuff. But my kid has a great work ethic because I made him. And my kid never even flew in anything but first class until he was 9 years old. And so I've had money, I've lost money, and I'll tell you right now, it's greater to have money. But money doesn't mean that much to me. You can ask people in my life. I like to have money because I learned a long time ago. There's a guy named something Weaver. He said, money is like manure. If you stack it up, it just stinks. But if you spread it around, it makes things grow. And that's what I'm doing with this company. I want us to have a global company. When we had ERC was awesome. We made a lot of money with it, but it wasn't like passionate of mine. But I looked at it and I go, if I can help people get some of their financial problems out of the way, help some of these businesses make some money, and then we can find something that just drives the company, which is Revo. It really is. The name is perfect. Revo, revolution. If you, every time you get down, every time you have a bad day, you think about that, things will be great. I wasn't going to go this long, but of course, my start running. I'm going to answer a couple more questions. Thanks, man. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Now we're gonna have more software people with us. I'm gonna answer a couple questions and we're gonna end for the night. I would tell you though, I would encourage every single one of you to get to this training in April in Jupiter, Florida, because we're not gonna just do training. We're gonna go out. I'm gonna go out with people and show them how I talk to people. I'm gonna get in a couple of Uber cars with people from the company. I'm going to get some of you in the car that are there at the training, and we're going to get in a car and I'm going to teach you how I do this, how I talk to a driver. You know, I ask question after question after question after question. And then by the time I get done, they're like, oh yeah. Are you more excited about what we're doing now than when you came in here?
Oh,
Why?
I've learned more and,
But do you see it for yourself more?
Yeah, I see it for myself.
Yeah, like now, because I made it real for him. What's important to me doesn't matter. It has no bearing on him. If I sit here today and told him, listen, Tony's got 2 jets and I need 1, he doesn't care. He wants to go play music. But what happens in most people is they start recruiting from their own brain and they forget about the person. I have been blessed enough for the last 20 years. I've had people that beat this into me. I can sit down with somebody within 5 minutes. I know their personality. I know what motivates them, what doesn't motivate them. I can shake their hand and I can tell what type of personality they are. I can see what kind of clothes they wear, what kind of car they drive. And I'm not going to go to somebody who's not money motivated and go, you can get rich. But I would go to my mother. I told my mom the other day, my mom goes, I don't know if I could ever do anything with your company. And I go, well, first of all, we wouldn't hire you. And she goes, that's hurtful. And I'm like, well, you can submit a resume. She goes, you're my child. You can't talk to me like this. I'm like, doesn't feel so great, does it, lady? But my mom is a missionary. She loves her church. And I said, Mom, why don't you let me show you how to use this app? And then the ladies in your church, we could get all the money you get from this. You could put it into whatever missionary group you want. You can do these things. And my mom started telling my dad. She's like, Roger, you need to get this app on your phone. And I'm like, I found out what was important to my parents. But if I would have gone to my parents and gone, this is my company, you better support me and you better do this, you didn't realize my parents would have been like, we're not doing this. We don't care. So I'm going to answer a couple quick questions and we're going to end for the night. I'm in San Diego, California, where RIVO has not yet arrived. It's Revo. And let me tell you something else. We're going to start calling it by its correct name, not Revo. It's Revo. You don't call it a revolution. I mean, maybe some people do. You can call it whatever you want, but it's revolution. Has not yet arrived. I've signed up for a driver. How can I get access to the app? Currently, the app says waiting for admin approval. I'd like to see what it looks like and get trained. Now, it's until we open your area, we haven't done the background check. So it's going to say waiting for admin approval. I will work with the guys to see if we can get some test videos up and stuff like that. but we're gonna start opening more areas quickly so that we'll get that taken care of. Does the year and model of vehicle matter? I keep getting that question. We have a whole list of things. Listen, what you gotta do is take whatever Uber and Lyft are doing and subtract and make it a little bit better. Like if they say 2012, we'll do 2010. Like we're working on the important things right now. Everything with us is done on priorities. I want the app to work. I want it to calculate correctly. I don't want it to do like it happened in New Orleans the other day, where this other company, we were testing our app against theirs. And I told everyone in the room tonight, we were doing this with another app. Our app said 6.2 on the miles. Theirs said 8.8. So they were obviously charging more money. I want to make sure we don't have discrepancies. I want to make sure that our apps pay people on time. Those are the things that are the most important to me. Now, when we open, everything with us will be done differently than them. If a car is, I've seen cars that are 2021 that I wouldn't get in to save my life. And I've seen cars that are 2013 that are pristine and perfect. Guess what? How about we look at the car through pictures and we say, hey, somebody might want to ride in that car. Maybe we have a different class where they can do it. So we're going to be more flexible with people, but we will get that answered, Angel. When is rideshare going to be available to everyone? As soon as I can possibly do it. I love how all my friends in the company, I don't know the answer, so they answer it. It's proof of action. Can you touch on if Revo we already went through the insurance? Is the ERC going? Yep. Any success stories yet from Miami or New Orleans? Nope. I'm just kidding. Have people made money yet? It's still early, but I can tell you people have made money off of rides. Every single day we download it right into their account. And it's like, it's so funny because I had people, one guy the other day goes, I need to know how much money, how many drivers are making right now. And I said, okay, well then you probably don't want to work with this, because if I told you, you would probably be depressed because it's not huge yet, but it's going to get bigger and better. Now you can still go ride for the other apps and make money while you're building this business. So we will get answers for you. Not a question statement. Not a question, but a statement. Filed SETC with the IRS with SNAP on November 10th. Received the first of 2 checks yesterday. That's your government. Like we put all this stuff in, and November 10th of 10, this last November, I guess. Is that right? Is that what he's saying? Jimmy, I don't know what year you're saying, but it takes a while. They have slowed things down. There are referral links for rideshare. Referral links for rideshare right now are in your Revo. You can get with a person or you can get with support and they can show you how to do it. We're working to embed the codes into the app, but I really hope that tonight you got something out of this. I wasn't planning on going into some of that stuff, but I really truly believe that I need to start teaching people the stuff I really do. You know, if I get with somebody in a car, exactly what I did with Seth tonight is exactly what I would do. And listen, I try not to do it sometimes. I don't want to talk to people sometimes, but it's so ingrained in my psyche. I feel like I'm doing a disservice if I get in a car with a driver and I don't tell them about Revo. Because guess what? What if that person could be the best person? And what if that could have benefited them? Like, I don't feel like I'm ever convincing someone. I don't convince anybody to do this. If somebody doesn't want to do it, I'm like, all right. I had a guy the other day that started hammering me with like on Facebook. And I think it's where I think Facebook's the evil one. They love to come at me on trying to get this out of, I'm putting this all over this light. I'm going to put it right here and we'll end with this. So I had a guy the other day that got on my Facebook and he started sending me question after question and started hammering me with all these things. And I'm going to tell you what's wrong with your app. And I'm going to tell you this and that. And I said, listen, I don't usually answer on Facebook, but he caught me on the wrong time on the wrong day. And I said, listen, I'm looking for positive, upbeat, motivated people. And it doesn't sound like that's what you're looking for. So maybe we're not the company for you to look for. And then somebody in the company who I adore and is an amazing person texted me and said, don't run off my best person. And I called that person right then because I know her very well. And I said, let me explain something to you. I'm not desperate and neither are you. I'm not going to have somebody in the company that I'm going to have to convince. If I have to convince you that if I'm in a relationship with someone and if I have to convince them that to talk them into loving me today, Don't you think I'm gonna have to do it tomorrow and the next day and the next day? I'm not here. I have a saying, some will, some won't. So what next? I'm looking for people that want to do this. I'm wanting people that want to lock arms. Like, listen, I don't always get along with Tony perfectly. There's people in the company that don't always get along with me, but we have a kindred desire to do something good to change the world. And if we do it, listen, nobody ever thought you could change the world through rideshare. But what if we go out and we help people get in control of their finances? We teach them how to motivate people better. You know, I learned how to be a better parent because of the training that I've been through. I learned how to get my kid to, like, one of the things I learned heavily, being a single parent, being a parent is hard enough, but being a single parent was really rough. I mean, I'd be in a loony bin if I had 4 like Jonathan did. But one of the things I learned from my mentor is instead of trying to tell my kid to go to bed, I would say, do you want to go to bed now or in 5 minutes? Guess what I just did? I gave him an option. He always chose the 5-minute option, but he chose an option. And I didn't have to fight with him. So there's things that we're going to teach you, but I would tell you, anything you can do, be there April 20th. You're all going to get an email. If you signed up for our May event, we're going to move all those. We're going to give you get to go to this one event in April, but I would make sure you get it done quickly because we only have 100 spots. But we're going to give you the opportunity. We're going to push that out a little bit because we have some big events coming down the road later on in June and July. We're going to do some corporate events. We're going to do a bunch of stuff. So we're going to move that one, but we're going to give you the option. You're allowed to attend the one in April. Your entrance fee your registration will be moved to that, but you're also going to still have the next one that we do. You'll still have the ability to go to that. So we'll send an email out to all those that have registered. I appreciate you joining us tonight. I hope that this helps you. We are working on videos. We're working on back office stuff. We're working on everything we possibly can to make this the best opportunity on the face of the earth for you guys. So I appreciate you joining us. We will talk to you soon. Have a great night.